Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Yes, I'm late on a video today, and I didn't get a live stream in last night either. So the live stream, I got called out to a pretty decent sized fire, and that one just, it took too long. By the time I got back, it was late and I was tired. So that's why I didn't do a live stream. And then this morning, our fire department that we work with and that we're part of, is doing a big spring cleaning, and we all met here. A whole bunch of people and extra volunteers met at the main fire station, not the one that we run, and have removed pretty much everything that's not nailed down out of the fire station, and we're power washing it. I'm going to paint new stripes on the floor and clean things up, reorganize. So been very busy this morning with that, so that's why I'm late with the video. That being said, there's a lot of doom and gloom out there, and I know I'm part of that, it seems. You know, I talk about the stuff that's going on in the world, the bad things, how people are behaving, how the world is getting worse and worse. I get it. And it does look like doom and gloom. It looks like things are, you know, it's just falling apart. And in a sense, it really is. It's falling apart spiritually. It's falling apart morally. It's falling apart politically, economically, just about every possible way. Everything is just falling apart, and that's the way things go. For one thing, it's the way things go when there's this much corruption and that's gone on for decades. But it's also the way things go when you look at things biblically. Now, a few years back, I don't remember if I said it necessarily on this channel, but I said it to several people. When it became very apparent that the world was just going off the cliff, morally, everything, I said, the only kind of silver lining that I could see in this really is the possibility that there could be some real pushback from the good people in this world. That, in a sense, a sort of revival, not necessarily spiritual revival, although that could be part of it, but just a revival of traditional values, moral values, family values, that kind of stuff. There's going to be pushback. Now, before you get too excited, that pushback doesn't necessarily mean it will prevail. But there are going to be people, as the world becomes more wicked, there's going to be people that push back even more and try to retain you know, the traditions and morality and God and the Bible and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of similar to the scripture where it says, you know, separating the wheat and the tares. I know that that's meaning from a spiritual perspective, but we're seeing that also in just how the world works. And what's going on here is a good example of that. You know, how many people in our area are starting to wake up and realize that the world is really falling apart, and we've got to start pulling together. And I think that brings hope, not necessarily that the world is going to become a better place overall, but that there's still some people out there that's willing to do some good, which is why I encourage you to start working with them, to start building relationships with people like that. It may be hard to find some people like that in your area. You may live in an area that's very liberally slanted, woke slanted, godless slanted, but there are still many places across this country that aren't that way. And so that's why I encourage often is to reach out to those people, find those people in your area, find people that still uphold traditional values, biblical values, moral values, because those kind of people, they're sick of what's happening too. They're sick of it, and they want to pull together, and they want to retain things the way they once were, and to, you know, try to have some sort of a future for their children, their grandchildren. And so, as bad as things are, and they are, and I'm not saying that to scare you, I'm not saying that to you know, get more clicks, I'm not saying that to, sorry it's a little windy out here, I'm not saying that to just, you know, cause more fear and panic, but the reality is that's how it is. I mean, there's stuff being said and done and normalized right now that 5, 10, 20 years ago, there's hardly a person on this planet that would have believed You know, if you went back 10 years ago and you started telling people 10 years ago what's going on today and how it's accepted and normalized, they would have laughed at you. They would have mocked you. There would have been no possible way that any rationally thinking person would have accepted that, you know, 10 years later, this is what's going on. And yet it is. And it's really the same way economically, politically, all of that. Where decades ago, even just a decade ago, most people would have never dreamed that, you know, we would have a president the way it is, and that things are going the way they are, and how it's the most absurdness that you can imagine when it comes to lies and corruption and all of that. That's out in the open, and then of course nothing is being done about it. It's just been brushed off because the new next biggest thing catches everyone's attention, and they forget about what was in the news just a few days ago. Most people would have never dreamed that we'd have gotten this way, and yet here we are. And based on the progression of things, I'd say over the next few years it's going to get considerably worse. I think that's part of what this great reset is to get us so far down and low and bad that when they unveil, you know, whatever it is that they're going to save the world, that the majority of the world will accept it. They will say, yes, we need that because our world is falling apart. You know, the dollar, the economy, the currencies are worthless, and trade is bad, and you know, supply chains are crumbling, and healthcare and morality and government, and everything's falling apart. So yeah, we'll take whatever this new shiny thing is because it's got to be better than what it is right now. That's what we're leading to. That's what it's heading to, folks. We have to realize that. You know, I don't know what it's going to look like in the end. I don't know how it's going to play out, but I do know that that's how it's playing. That's where we're headed. And we have to be prepared for that. But I'm telling you, there are still good people out there. They may not all be preppers. They may not even all believe spiritually the way that you do. And that's okay. I'm not saying that all of those people are going to be part of your inner circle, but there definitely should be part of your circle in some way, where you can work together and understand the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of thing, even if you don't all believe just alike or think just alike. The fact that you're disgusted with what's going on and you want to preserve things and hold true to just truth, just absolute truths that seem to be changing constantly, or at least they're trying to change it. So in all the things that you're doing and that you're preparing for, that you see going on today in the world, and it's a lot, and it's horrible, it's bad. I just want you to know that there are still good people out there. And there's people out there that want that kind of revival of traditions and morality and family and God and the Bible and all that kind of stuff. And they may want it differently. They may see things slightly differently than you, and that's okay, but they want that. And at least on some level, we can work with that. And we can build relationships and have a community and have people of like mind. It doesn't mean you're identical, but at least like mind. And that's really what we need to be doing on top of all of the preparedness stuff, the self-sufficiency stuff, the training, all that. It's all one big recipe. You leave part of that, an ingredient out of that recipe, and the recipe flops. And building community and building relationships with each other of people that see what's going on and that want to fix things and that want to hold on to things. That's just another ingredient in this big recipe of retaining something, of making it through this, of surviving and not being in a place that you're almost forced to succumb to the beast system because it's either that or die. And I know what some of you are going to say about that, but the point, you understand my point. So don't be disheartened and discouraged and depressed. Maybe the area you're at is just it's bad and it's going to be bad. I mean, if you live in the middle of Portland or the middle of Chicago or LA or New York, yeah, you're probably it's bad, right? And in other areas that aren't as well known as that are as bad too. So find the right place. It's worth it. It's worth it to find a better place to live and to start making community and connections around you. And if you're already there, keep trying. Just be willing to talk to people. Don't just say silly stuff right out in the open, but start conversations with them, kind of feel them out, Get involved in local volunteer work, local community stuff. You know, if some church or some charitable organization or volunteer fire department or school or whatever is doing things, go there, show up, try to get other people to go there. And you'd be surprised how many people you meet that are sick and tired of the way things are going. And they really want to change, and they realize that you're not going to change the world. You're not even going to change Washington, and probably not even your state capital. But maybe you can change and hold on to what's going on in your local area. And that's really become our focus here. We're not opposed to supporting or pushing or whatever stuff on a bigger level, on a state level or national level, but we realize that the real meat and taters of everything is where it's at, right where you're at, the local people around you. And so that's where we have to put our focus, and that's what we're doing today. The whole department is here, and we've got other people from the community that's come out, and it's a beautiful thing. And this is the kind of stuff. There's children here, women, elderly people, all kinds of stuff. And we're doing a lot of good so that we can do more good for this community. And that's the kind of stuff that you need to be focused on. Folks, it's time to get your houses in order and to prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.